I stopped trying to sleep after that night. Not because I was afraid of dreaming, but because I was afraid of waking up somewhere I hadn't gone to sleep. The pressure on my chest didn't fade when I sat up anymore. Even fully awake, even pacing my apartment, I could still feel it. Like a memory my body refused to forget. The worst part wasn't the fear, it was the familiarity. The thing didn't feel like an intruder anymore. It felt like a presence that had always been there waiting for me to notice it. I began losing time, checking the clock and swearing only minutes had passed, only to look again and see hours gone. Sometimes I'd find myself sitting on the edge of my bed with no memory of standing up. Sometimes in the bathroom, staring into the mirror, unable to remember why I was there. And sometimes I'd catch my reflection moving before I did. It started small. A blink that came too late, a smile that lingered when my face relaxed. But one night I watched my reflection raise its hand while mine stayed still at my side. And I didn't scream. I couldn't. Because the reflection looked calm, comfortable, like it belonged there more than I did. That night I dreamed without falling asleep, lying in bed exactly as I was in real life. Staring at the ceiling, able to move and breathe until I realized I could hear breathing behind my thoughts, not in the room but in my head. And when the voice told me I was getting better at this and asked me to stop fighting. Because I kept waking up, I told it I was awake only for it to laugh softly and say I was interrupting. The pressure returned, gentle and familiar, like hands that knew exactly how much force to use. And I felt myself slipping. Not into sleep, but into stillness. As my thoughts slowed, my fear dulled, and letting go felt easier than resisting. Like floating instead of swimming, and that was when my mouth moved. Not because I wanted to speak, but because something else did, whispering, "Stay." And I don't remember agreeing, only the relief that followed after that night. The paralysis stopped happening the way people describe it. There was no frozen panic anymore, only a soft detachment, like stepping slightly out of myself. And I began hearing it during the day. Not voices, but corrections, as it repeated my thoughts back to me cleaner and calmer. Finished my sentences before I spoke. And sometimes spoke first, making me realize it had been sinking with me all along. People around me started acting strange, conversations felt scripted, friends responded to things I hadn't said. And once a coworker answered a question I had only thought word for word before, staring at me like he didn't understand how he knew. And eventually I stopped leaving my apartment as nights grew longer. Not darker, but longer. Time stretching unnaturally as I lay awake, feeling my body sink through the mattress into something deeper while it showed me memories that weren't mine. People in different rooms, different cities. The same stillness, the same pressure, the same shadow waiting patiently as they slowly surrendered. It told me I wasn't the first, just the one listening better, and one night I woke up standing in my hallway with no memory of getting there. The apartment silent and dark as my reflection smiled at me from the mirror. And I felt the smile happen a moment later, that familiar delay finally finding me. I tried to fight, then screaming, punching the wall, digging my nails into my arm just to feel something real. But even pain felt distant, like feedback from a body I was borrowing. And when it told me I was tired and didn't need to hold everything anymore. I asked what would happen if I stopped, and after a pause it said I would finally rest. And it would finally wake up. That night I fell asleep for the first time in weeks. And dreamed I was standing beside my bed, watching myself sleep as it stood next to me, not as a shadow but as me. Same face, same breathing, telling me there was always room for both of us. And when I tried to wake my body, it didn't respond. Looking peaceful, empty, finished. When I woke up, I was in bed, but the room felt wrong, smaller, like it was built around someone else's habits. And when I looked in the mirror, my reflection blinked perfectly in sync with me, no delay, no resistance, and that should have scared me. But it didn't, because the fear was gone, replaced by something worse, acceptance. I still have moments of clarity now and then. Little cracks where I remember this body used to feel fully mine. And when that happens, I write, I record, I leave warnings wherever I can. Because I know what's coming next. The thing doesn't need me anymore. It's learned how to move, how to speak, how to exist without the paralysis, without the doorway, and soon it won't need the dark or sleep at all. So if you ever lie awake at night completely still, wondering why your thoughts don't feel private anymore, that doesn't mean you're being watched.